Hey there YouTube, Wrestling Optimus here, back with my action figure review of Wrestlemania Backlash. I'd like to start by saying that the Peacock app sucks, and unfortunately, the only device I could find that would let me pause and rewind was an iPhone. So that's how I ended up watching the entire pay-per-view, and it definitely took away from the experience for me. I really hope they fix that ASAP. But for now, let's see if the actual show could make up for the technical issues. That's right, we're headed into my custom Thunderdome, so for a recap and review, let's take it over to the action figures. On the pre-show, the Dirty Dogs beat up Dominic Mysterio backstage and dump a couch on him. My immediate thought? Where's Rey? Sheamus continues his open challenge, where he never puts the US title on the line. Still, Ricochet answers the call as commentary tries to put him over despite his past booking. He gets to show off a few of his awesome high-flying moves in a surprisingly competitive match, but eventually, the Celtic Warrior wins with a nasty-looking knee to the face. Afterwards, he cuts a promo bragging about himself, only for Ricochet to attack from behind, steal his clothes, and do a little dance. How babyface of him. I guess this was supposed to be disrespectful, so he appears to stand tall, but dude, you lost. The main card opens with a triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte's entrance gear is a Cruella de Vil cosplay that actually looks pretty cool. Her in-ring gear, on the other hand, looks like cow print instead of Dalmatian. Asuka is clearly the babyface here, and Charlotte is the heel, but I have no idea what role Rhea is playing. Of course, it wouldn't be a triple threat match without a triple suplex off the top rope. We get a three-way slugfest before Charlotte hits a double natural selection, but it only gets a 2 count. Then, they slightly botch the ending. Charlotte kicks Asuka into a riptide from Rhea for the victory, but Charlotte was standing right there on the ring apron and could have easily broken up the pin. Oh well, live TV. The Miz is preparing for his match later when John Morrison comes up and says that he has a plan. After implying that he doesn't know what a thirst trap is, he sets off to have a chat with the Lumberjacks. Trainers tell Dominic that he isn't cleared to compete after getting attacked earlier. Apparently that means we're getting a handicap match playa rather than just letting Rey find a new partner. He comes out to the ring with gear inspired by the Adam West version of Batman. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode take full advantage of the situation, double-teaming Rey throughout, but in true Mysterio style, he keeps fighting back. Suddenly, Dominic limps down to the ring and enters the match. Eventually, he gets the hot tag, but it's quickly shut down by Roode with a spinebuster. Rey battles back and takes out Ziggler with a sunset flip to the outside, while Dominic hits a fairly weak-looking frog splash to become not only your new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, but the first father-son team to ever win the belts. Backstage again, John Morrison tries to have a chat with the Lumberjacks, but for some reason the entire locker room is full of zombies? What the fuck? When he tries to tell Miz later on, Mike says it was all just in his head. Apparently, this is a promotional tie-in with some Dave Bautista movie called Army of the Dead. Also backstage, Jimmy Uso confronts his brother in Roman's locker room, saying they deserve their own room, when Reigns walks in. Jimmy tells him good luck and leaves. Time to figure out what these zombies are all about as The Miz takes on Damian Priest in a lumberjack match. Sure enough, zombies overtake the Thunderdome. Some even chase away the commentary team, so there's a really awkward silence at the start that reminded me of the early pandemic days. When they reach a more secure location, Corey has the best line, saying, "No, we aren't relaunching ECW again, the Lumberjacks are zombies." The zombies actually turn out to be some of the most effective lumberjacks in history. Instead of fighting amongst each other and distracting from the match, they just quietly keep the two wrestlers in the ring. That is until they drag both men outside, causing them to briefly team up on the zombies. John Morrison gets involved and takes out a couple of the zombies himself with his parkour style, but winds up pulled over the barricade and into the abyss. We never see him again. Back in the ring, Damian Priest nails a hit the lights and picks up the victory, then scurries off as the zombies devour The Miz. Yup, seriously. This was so fucking dumb, and I usually like this kind of stuff. Oh, and let me guess, The Miz and Morrison will be just fine on TV this week. Next is the other women's match as Bianca Belair defends her SmackDown Women's Championship against the role model Bayley. In keeping with tradition, Bayley has the word "Bell Loser" shaved into the back of her head. It's a really good match. Shockingly, Belair kicks out of the Bayley to belly, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Bayley focuses on Bianca's hair and even tries to incorporate the braid into a move, but the champ reverses and ends up using it to help secure the pin and retain her title. Okay, I'll admit it, that was a creative ending, even though they kind of botched it, as evidenced by the lack of instant replay. But hey, it gives Bayley the perfect opportunity to get in Michael Cole's face and complain. MVP is interviewed about his business arrangement with Braun Strowman that went awry on Monday. Taking a page out of the Shane McMahon playbook, he says Braun doesn't have the intellectual capacity to be WWE Champion. That leads into our next match between current champion Bobby Lashley, former champion Drew McIntyre, and the monster among men, Braun Strowman. Not much to describe here, it's a bunch of big beefy boys doing big beefy things.
Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men.
At some point, Lashley is tossed through some LED boards, sending sparks flying. Braun gets a near fall after a senton bomb, and McIntyre gets one of his own after somehow hitting the monster with a Michinoku driver. But in the end, it goes down exactly as I predicted in my video. As much as I like him, Braun isn't winning. In fact, I think he's going to take the loss here when McIntyre hits him with a Claymore, but Bobby steals the pin. Drew hits Strowman with a Claymore kick, only for Bobby to steal the pin and retain. Damn, I'm good. In the main event, Cesaro takes on Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Beforehand, Jimmy Uso is surprised to find out that his cousin doesn't want him in his corner tonight. In fact, he tells Jay to go find his brother Jimmy instead. It's a great match, with Cesaro injuring his arm early on and Reigns targeting it. In keeping with his tribal chief character, Roman talks a lot of trash, taunting both Cesaro and the recently retired Daniel Bryan. After a long series of submission holds, Roman locks in the guillotine and chokes out Cesaro to retain. Jay comes out and ceremoniously places the Red Chieftain's lei around his cousin's neck. Then he brutally attacks the helpless Swiss Superman until Seth Rollins interrupts. Seth comes out in a hideous suit and stares down Roman for a second before laying into Cesaro himself, apparently still mad about all those swings he took at WrestleMania. Specifically, he goes after the injured arm with a steel chair, effectively Pillmanizing it against a ring post. And that's just how it ends. It was definitely a solid show, and way better than it had any right to be given the minimal hype going in. I will say, I was pleasantly surprised that neither Uso got involved in the main event, and they just let Roman and Cesaro put on a great match. Actually, the wrestling was decent throughout the night. Multiple storylines progressed or left us on cliffhangers, and the show was over in less time than it takes to suffer through an episode of Raw. Minus the zombies, you can't beat that. Alright, that'll do it for WrestleMania Backlash. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I'll be back on Thursday with my review of Dynamite, and I'll have coverage of Double or Nothing all weekend. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to do all that normal YouTube stuff. Smash the like button, share with any wrestling or action figure fans you may know, subscribe to the channel, and spread the word. You can also talk to me over on Twitter at WrestlingOptimus, or see all my best figure photography over on Instagram at WrestlingOptimus. If you haven't seen my latest review of Dynamite, you can check that out right here. But until next time, I've been Wrestling Optimus, and I'll catch you later.